Welcome back to Wasted Wagons.
We've been lamenting Thursday Night Football and how crappy the games have been. We're going to switch topics a little bit to something a little more personal, and another Wagoneer who's lamenting some of his sports life right now. Todd, your Orioles are kind of going through it right now.
Yeah, as you know, look, I came prepared. I wore my Cal Ripken Orioles jersey today in hopes that
You can't help them.
they would rebound from the shit show that was yesterday, and it was a whole lot worse today. Yesterday they lost a close one, 3-2. Really, the bat just couldn't get going yesterday. Pitching kind of got it. Kyle Bradish got a little bit in a rut yesterday, but he kind of got out of it and turned it around. Bats didn't help him out at all. Today was just a completely different story, and I know Travis kind of had a little bit to say about this too, but I'm looking at it and it's like it almost looks like yesterday Brandon Hyde was trying to kind of match. Shut up, Patrick.
What did he say?
It almost looks like Brandon Hyde was just trying to match Bruce Bochy, like, blow for blow. I mean, it's like he made a pitch and change. Brandon Hyde made a pitch and change.
Since Todd threw my name out there, I don't get it. I thought Bradish, he allowed a couple of runs early yesterday, but then Hyde made kind of a premature pull. It's almost like they are going toe-to-toe with their pitching. But what I'm noticing from the series so far is that the Orioles don't seem to have good pitching. Like, I don't know who this guy Webb is, the guy that allowed a grand slam today, but I saw him pitch yesterday. Didn't look good yesterday, got put in, allowed a grand slam today. It just doesn't look good. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to jump ship from the Guardians train to pull for Todd's Orioles, but it just doesn't look good.
For those who aren't really into baseball or following the postseason so far, the Orioles are the 1 seed?
The Orioles are the 1 seed. They got the home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
And right now they're down 2-0 to the Rangers.
2, yeah.
You guys looked no one looks unstoppable, but you guys were like humming along pretty much all season.
Yeah.
And we're in pretty good form going into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that surprised me is they released the pitching rotation for the Orioles, and obviously Kyle Bradish, I agree with, should have been the number one. He was hot pretty much all season long. Finished the season really strong. His under a 3 ERA, and even like he got in some trouble yesterday, but really got himself out of it. Like Travis said, I feel like they shouldn't have pulled him as early as they did. But really, Grayson Rodriguez was kind of a head scratcher for me as like why he was starting the second game. He started the season like shit. He was their top prospect coming into the season. Started the season really badly. Ended up really having when he was called back up, he really finished the season strong. But I mean, when I saw that, I was like, well, why not go with the guy you're paying the most money on in your franchise, and Kyle Gibson? He was basically your number one, your ace to start the season. He has the playoff experience. He was on the Phillies last year. Why is he not starting number 2 over Grayson Rodriguez, who has no playoff experience whatsoever and really started the season badly? And I really think that inexperience kind of showed today. And he allowed so many runs and was pulled in the second inning, and it was just a disaster.
At the 5 runs pulled, I had a question mark going into it. Same kind of thing. I know they released these starters before the game starts, but I'm kind of scratching my head on the same thing. Like, you lost game 1. This is a crucial game 2, and you have a rookie starting game 2 when you have your veteran who's basically been kind of the anchor of your team the whole season. Maybe starting game 3.
And if not Kyle Gibson, why not Dean Kramer? Dean Kramer also had a really, really good year this year. I didn't get that move. And I really think Brandon Hyde outcoached himself so far in the series. Aside from that, yesterday, arguably, Webb lost the game for the Orioles. He comes in, he gives up the home run to Young, who, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Young. I think he's Wonder Boy and all that kind of shit. Jose Ramirez should have started the All-Star game at third base for the American League, but, you know.
It's a popularity contest.
Kudos to you, Young. You won the game for the Rangers yesterday. But he gave up the game-losing home run yesterday, and then I'm going to tell you, like, I was at my mom's house watching the Saints game. The Orioles game had started. Travis and his family had left at the second inning. I'm standing there I'm staying at my house with Cannon. He's watching the game. He's all upset. He's like, I want to leave. So I bring him home. Come back. The bases are loaded. Brian Baker's sorry ass is in there. Brian Baker / Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn.
His sorry ass is in there. Bases loaded. They pull him. They bring in Webb. And I'm like, why the fuck are they bringing him in? This dude gave up the game-losing home run yesterday. Instantly, the dude gives up a grand slam, and it's like it takes me out of the game. Like, I'm upset, man.
I'm not gonna pile on. Although I love your tears as just a purely content thing, I'm actually pulling for the Orioles. One because of you, and I'm cool with your team doing well. I don't dislike anything about the Orioles. I can't say anything because my team didn't even make the playoffs. We were absolute dog shit.
I'm the same way. You know, like I'm Cleveland Guardians. You're a St. Louis Cardinals. I think we're both pulling for the Orioles just for Todd's sake.
I'm not going to knock Brandon Hyde in any way, shape, or form because I think he's done an amazing job this year with what he had. You know, he's got a bunch of young kids, and I think he's got them to play to their full potential. But it's clear to me that his inexperience in the playoffs is showing right now. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Bochy, I think, is just completely outcoaching him. So I don't know. They go to Texas. Thanks, Mike. They go to Texas on Tuesday. I don't have high hopes in them winning. I think they're going to get swept.
Well, look, like if Gibson's starting, maybe that veteran experience ends up leading them to a win. You know, they just got to pull themselves out of a big hole at this point.
For the sake of just being for my first question I have, we're talking about a lot of pitching and things like that. Is the offense doing enough? Could they be doing a lot better, or has the offense just been?
The offense was non-existent yesterday. Mm-hmm. The bats kind of got going today, but I mean they couldn't. Mike, what you got going on over here?
It's a dog fest.
Let the dog out.
That's a great cover.
The bats got going a little bit today, but they just, I mean, you know, I heard it going into the playoffs that the Orioles were going to have trouble facing the Texas Rangers bats and how good they are. Mm-hmm. And it really kind of showed today. I mean, the Orioles hung in there. They had some really great hits today. The bats got going, but they lost 11-5. They couldn't hang with the Rangers bats. The dogs look great. Obviously, the dogs are Rangers fans. So.
The dogs wanted your tears as well. I don't know. It's the playoffs are. I don't know how I feel about the playoffs so far. Like how things are going. I mean, the Rays are out. Did Houston win today?
I didn't see that.
I
know the Braves lost yesterday, which was surprising. Let's see what we got here. They won 2 games today, but the Astros are losing today.
They're losing 5-0 in the 7th.
The Orioles actually came back and got 8 runs. Couldn't hold on there, man.
Well, do you think you said the game's about Tuesday?
Yeah.
If the game doesn't go in his favor, do we need to call Todd and just talk to him, see how he's doing, check on him?
I think we need to check him. We do a wellness check on him.
Do. That's it. We're gonna.
Do we know the hotline?
Yeah. Listen. If it goes really bad, I might just show up at his house with a mic and be like, "Hey, Todd, I need a live look at how you're feeling right now. Give me all the emotions,
if y'all want
all
some
the
live
tears."
Entertainment, you might just want to show up at my house with a fucking microphone and a video camera and just record.
If
Mike's
we're gonna go live at Todd's.
Wellness checks, you know.
We're gonna go live at Todd's on Tuesday until it's going bad. If it's going well, then hey, we'll celebrate with maybe some chips and salsa or a pumpkin spice latte for you.
While we're on the topic of baseball, Todd, there was another topic you wanted to discuss here based upon baseball,
which I thought was going to be your topic.
Well, it was, but the Orioles, lost 2 games in a row. Had the Orioles won today, I may not even been talking about this until a later date. But yeah, my initial topic was, I mean, it just kind of broke 2 days ago. I mean, I don't know. I know there's really only 3 actual real MLB fans here, right? Man,
Yeah,
how many? I mean, y'all have heard about the Trevor Bauer situation though, where he was accused of sexual assault 2 years ago. Basically, his career, his MLB career, at least, has kind of been ruined over it.
Yeah, he's been playing in Japan over the past
He's-
year. And look, as a Cleveland Guardians fan, former Cleveland Indians before they became the Guardians, Trevor Bauer was their number 2 pitcher. And he was right behind Corey Kluber in their 5-man rotation. He was a stud pitcher. And then he won
the Cy Young, didn't he?
No, he didn't win the Cy Young. But he ends up getting traded to the Dodgers, and he's in LA, doing his thing, and a girl accuses him of sexual assault, and before you know it, he's suspended for the rest of the year. He's been out of baseball for about a year and a half. He ends up getting signed by a Japanese team. Well, now as you find out, he ends up getting text messages. I don't know if it was from one of the accuser's friends or what, but Trevor actually, was able to disclose text messages, to his lawyer and to the court, where he has evidence that the girl was saying to one of her friends that she was going to rob him of every penny that he had, that she was basically, self-disclosing that she was a gold digger and that she was going to take him for every penny he was worth, even though he did not sexually assault her. She consented with everything sexually.
Kind of like it was a setup.
It was an
setup.
absolute setup.
He had pictures like, kind of like, y'all remember like the Julian Edelman pictures, obviously, where the girl was like, I just fucked Edelman, no lie, and he's sleeping in bed, and she's got the picture. She had pictures like that where he's sleeping. His dude's got like a freaking, like one of those like eye masks on, like got a neck pillow. And she's got the pictures and she's smirking. And apparently those pictures were released just hours before she accused him of sexual assault. She's smiling. He's just laying in bed. And then,
with a neck pillow and a mask.
Sleep mask.
And that guy's going to sexually assault somebody?
Exactly.
Oh my
And
God.
it's not off topic, but a different person. Isn't Mel Tucker is kind of dealing with some of the same sort of thing with Michigan State? Like they have text messages from the accuser to her friend about how she was going to get rich, and like she like even put out like a dollar amount about I'm gonna get this amount of money from the situation. And I'm not saying that Mel Tucker didn't do things,
right,
but there's also seems to be some sort of proof that the woman wasn't, I want to say a full victim, but she had some nefarious intent with what was going on her side in the situation like that. So it's a really tricky situation for both of those accounts, even though they're not exactly related.
Like in several areas, though. I mean, like Travis and I are hockey fans, and I know Sean is a big Jaromir Jagr fan. It kind of happened to him. I think his was kind of just pushed out the door immediately and just kind of brushed aside.
His was the best. His was like, fine, show pictures of me. I don't give a crap. He was like all for it. It was like, you can't pull one over on me.
But Patrick Kane was like, it was like a big ordeal for him too.
Yeah.
His was finally dismissed, but I mean, it was like false accusations against him.
I know Jamie's here, and Jamie, you're probably not well versed in the 2 topics we're talking about in terms of like the players, the whole story like that. I would love to sit down and have like another discussion with you guys on a more serious level about just how this relationship dynamic works and how it can get skewed with a lot of he said, she said in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
And also include like get a female perspective, because it's so hard for the guy gets put into a corner and he's got to do all this stuff to defend himself. And then what happens after the fact when you learn that, hey, maybe the woman or the accuser had some ulterior motives to it like that. And it goes both ways. Maybe the guy, not saying that he's not a piece of shit because he did certain things, but like there's also this other side to it too. And it's such
you gotta find where you meet these girls. Look, I'm never gonna say, she wasn't a victim, whatever. But where you meet these girls, I know personally people whose intent was to get pregnant from a professional athlete, and that was gonna be like their career, like their ticket out. And I think professional athletes, it's with anything. Even if, are you going to get a bad manager that's going to milk you for everything? Are you going to, if you are a person who's very successful and you're talking millions of dollars, you have to protect yourself. So does that mean, hey, yeah, I want to sleep with you, sign this paper first? I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but at some point, they have like there's a whole back, I don't know what you call it, like a back club. Alley? Basically, like there's a behind the scenes club, a group of women that go specifically for players, and these are married players, and they had one on the radio not that long ago, like regular morning show radio. She didn't disclose her name, or she wasn't talking about any players' names, but she had worked at an establishment that's known for kind of revealing clothes, and they sell really great wings. So we all probably know what restaurant that is. Apparently, in this world is where these girls kind of recruit each other to go into these players' lives, and then sure enough, so.
But truthfully, it can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter your income. It could be it could be any one of us in a scenario when we're younger.
So how can this person be convicted? Where's the evidence that this crime did happen? And it's just like murder or whatever. So how?
I don't want to minimize here the topic of like real sexual assault or real sexual abuse or anything like that, because that stuff really does happen.
Right, and it could have happened in this case.
And it could have happened in this case. But I think, like you said, I think it's a terrible thing if certain unscrupulous women are going after these $1 million players.
100%. And then as a woman myself, that's a horrible assault. If something like that happened to me, I'm not going to just stay with this person and then like weeks later divulge it. I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to, and no, I mean, I can't be put in those people's shoes. You say you're going to do one thing, but then if you're in that situation, what would you really do? But I can't. I've known people, personal stories where they've been accused, and then next the accuser is carrying on like a normal life, like nothing happened.
Sure.
That's huge in your life. That's like a huge, you're not right after something like that. And I think people do take advantage.
And to go on the flip side, like there are these guys out here, and a lot of athletes that have all this money that think because with their fame and their power and their money, they can just get any woman to do what they want inside. So there's a lot of issues. It goes both ways. There are issues on both sides. And
Darren Sharper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, the one that's reminds me of it wasn't sexual is the Donald Sterling thing. You remember that? Years ago? He was recorded unbeknownst to him. He didn't know he was being recorded, and this chick was like baiting him to say like racial things. And I mean, it's like, I get the guy. He's an old rich white guy. Of course, he's going to say a lot of racial things, but he was being recorded. On whatever I'm trying to say, without his knowledge,
right?
And then everybody's like, chastising him and holding him to the fire, and it's like, well, okay, stuff doesn't hold up in court when people don't know they're being recorded, but yet we're going to chastise this guy for being recorded just because he's saying racial stuff behind closed doors.
Were these players married? Or like in relationships? Do y'all know? Were these players like married or in relationships?
Trevor Bauer, no, he wasn't. And like, I mean, we're a small time, quote unquote, podcast. We're a group of friends that hang out and we just record our shenanigans on
We're trying to make it big time. And if you're listening to us right now, please remember to
please
like and
subscribe.
Please sponsor us. We're here on Twitter. We're
Just
here
like
on
us.
Facebook.
Shout out to Takeo Spikes. Shout out to Takeo Spikes.
Thank you, Takeo.
He liked our post. He's a great guy. One of my favorite players, top 5 for me.
He's got traps up to his ears.
Now,
shout out to Tostitos because we've been dumping on chips and salsa all night.
Shout out to Smoothie King and your coffee high protein smoothie.
If your name starts with John and ends with Cena, go fuck yourself.
But like we joke when we're talking and we're sitting there hanging out and we're recording, and we talk about how like the mic is always hot, and you never know a situation that you might find yourself in saying something. Someone's recording you against your privacy and things like that. Yeah. It's just a weird.
That's what I'm saying. That whole thing. If you don't know you're being recorded, it doesn't with stand up in a court of law. But yet when a guy is being recorded in his own home, unbeknownst to him, and then it gets public, and it's like they want to chastise him. He has to sell his team, all that kind of stuff. It's like it just seems like a double standard to me.
I agree, but to be fair, I mean, another way around that is don't say some of the things you said, because again, you never know. Like we don't really edit this and edit out certain things.
Yeah.
But everything is technically content. Everything is technically hot and recorded and live.
You should say old rich white guy should know better that young hot lady that spends time with him and is even near him behind closed doors. She's up to something.
Well, don't exclude the other races like this. Yes, there's a lot of things that get caught up are like old white guy says racist thing like that. Everybody has said something that they probably don't want recorded or heard or replayed back to them or to their family or something like that. It's just a really touchy situation when you get into things this was said versus what someone said, but then you bring audio or video evidence into it. It gets a lot worse for people involved, especially if they didn't know they were being recorded.
Yep. I mean, I guess what I'm saying, like, I know a lot of people have like really mixed feelings on Trevor Bauer. He was one of those loud, outgoing personalities in baseball. He had that weird, quirky personality. I know him and Garrett Cole had like beef with each other for a while. But what happened to him was fucked up. I mean, 2 years the dude's been out of baseball. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball for what has happened. I really think the world kind of owes the man an apology. Everybody was quick to say, "Oh, he's a rapist,"
right? Because she sued him, then he countersued, and didn't just recently they both either settled either settled or dropped the lawsuits against each other. A couple of days ago, I think maybe.
Right, it's like 2 days ago.
And then he was on Twitter, like making a video explaining all this information that he had about her and what happened. And now it's like, hey, if what he's saying is true and all the text messages that they have now brought to light are true, yeah, we might owe him an apology for what's going on, because his professional career is being or has been ruined, because of what happened.
Yeah, I think
I'm wondering if
they probably will still look at him.
And I'm wondering if any MLB team would give him a shot.
And I think that's why he sued her in a countersuit, was because his statement. I think his point was that I am no longer allowed to earn an income in the manner which I used to because of this he said she said situation.
I think that's what upsets me the most about it is there do have women out there that use that victim thing to make money, and it's terrible because then any other person who truly was a victim, people are so quick to discredit them. Oh, they just want money. They just want this, and it's awful.
It hurts the women's movement altogether. The glass ceiling thing, it makes women look. It's like, oh, we're trying to be equals and all this, but then you pull shit like that.
Yeah, it just hurts like true victims.
But I think what's really fucked up is that if I'm not mistaken, in a Twitter video, he said her lawyers had all this information before, like that they were kind of concealing. Like that's
her lawyer. I think he petitioned to have her lawyers like disbarred because of the information, like whatever the point of malpractice, I guess, would be. That
it's setting women back because it's like you don't want to be treated like that, treated as lesser. But then when it's like when you can take advantage of men and get away with this kind of stuff, it just makes it's putting you lesser. It's making you like, why can't men get away with this against women? Right. It's like, because men are the dominant gender.
Without getting too deep into it, even though we probably kind of swam in the deeper end of it, it comes down to this: guys, don't be shitheads. Ladies, don't be shitheads. Can we just all get along? Can we all just get along?
Can't we just like pumpkin spice lattes?
No, we cannot.
But sign this consent form first.
We can like pumpkin spice lattes, just not over chips and salsa.
Don't trust a bitch who likes pumpkin spice.
Whoa, okay. I have trusted a lady that liked pumpkin spice, and it didn't really steer me wrong. But if she chooses pumpkin spice over chips and salsa, kick her to the curb.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Sorry, Dak Attack.
No, live looking.
Look at Patrick and I's defense picking off Dak Prescott, even though I like Dak Prescott.
Come on, Dak.
Yeah,
State.
That was a punt, basically. He threw like a 50-yard bomb and it got picked.
Poor Todd. His Orioles are going through it. One of his favorite players from Mississippi State, Dak Prescott, not having a great game.
I should have worn my Dak jersey tonight, so you could have a double whammy.
I'm sure this will lead Get Up in ESPN tomorrow. Stephen A. Smith is going to be off the rails tomorrow if the Cowboys end up losing this game.
Oh, they're gonna by far lose it. They're gonna score 28-10.
Oh, poor Dak. What is Jerry Jones going to have to say about this? Is he going to win it?
Is Jerry Jones really still alive?
I mean, in theory, yeah.
He's not looking like Al Davis, where he was like a skeleton on wheels.
Exactly. We'll start pulling together. People are going to be looking for a reason to move Trey Lance in there as a starter. You know,
I don't see a scenario where that will be the case. Like, there's no way Trey Lance gets in a game unless they either blowing someone out or Dak gets injured.
About Cooper Rush, come on now.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. We are forgetting.
Oh yeah. Cooper Rush, what are you doing right now?
5 starts.
Third string now. So.
You think Cooper Rush is on the sideline, like get his wrist and his legs like retaped, getting ready?
I think they still have Cooper Rush in front of Trey Lance.
Is technically third string.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Cooper Rush did look pretty
Go
good
from
when he
third overall in the draft to third string quarterback.
While we're talking about this Trevor Bauer situation, I mean, I've always kind of taken these things with a grain of salt. You know, like when Jameis Winston was about to get drafted first overall, they had a lady say that he raped her at a fraternity party or something along those lines, and it was just right about the time he was about to be drafted first overall. And then Patrick Kane, a player for the Chicago Blackhawks, had the same thing happen to him. Not right before he was drafted; he was already in the league at this point.
James Winston thing, yeah.
But you always take these kind of things for a grain of salt, knowing that there's going to be a big paycheck. Now, things like
dog doesn't like James Winston.
Our fans
like like Deshaun Watson with 25 allegations against him. I think that's a little different. Darren Sharper, there was also obviously some evidence against him, but most of the time when these athletes get these allegations against them, you always got to look at it and say like, hey, is this woman just out for a paycheck? And most of the time, that's kind of the way it goes,
Yeah, but not to go back to the flip side, a lot of these athletes put themselves in situations that they probably shouldn't be in too.
Sure,
because of their own stupidity, for one, like in their own hubris.
They probably got to know what's coming.
Yep. And that's my thing. I think a woman needs to understand what this man wants from her.
Sure.
And then I think the woman needs to understand. I mean, what did I say?
The man needs to
the ball kicking in. And then the man needs to understand what the woman is probably trying to get out of him. Now,
True.
Papers. They need to go through lawyers.
What's that saying? Don't put your dick in crazy.
You sign here. You sign there.
I mean, I guess that's possible. I need to know the whole story. Where did he meet her? What was? I need more information.
These are not the women that they want to fall in love with and have babies.
Was she flown out?
I think Trevor Bauer met her through a teammate, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
She was already working the system.
That's right. So you know what?
And again, guys, stop being pieces of shit too. Like you have some respect for women in general and have more respect. Like you have a mother. Like you should be treating women better. And also be smart and don't get yourself in a situation that is going to get you into problems. A lot of these problems you sometimes brought on yourself because you were out somewhere doing something that you probably shouldn't have been. You have a wife, but when you're on the road away from your wife, you're doing all this other stuff, and then you get exposed. You know what? Yeah, you got exposed, but you shouldn't be doing what you're doing in the first place.
That's what I said. Was he married? Was he? So, yeah.
Long and short of it, Todd, we're pulling for you. We hope you do well. But if Tuesday doesn't go right, we're going to be at your house, and we're going to get all of those tears live and in person.
Well, welcome back, all you gunslingers, to the Wasted Wagons podcast. We just left off talking about the Trevor Bauer sexual assault allegations, but now we're going to find out what grinds Sean's gears.
All right. Well, what grinds my gears lately is the TSA at airports, because
you've been doing a lot of traveling lately, huh?
Yeah, because the TSA seems very random at airports, that as to what they check, who, it depends on who checks you and all things like that. because leaving our airport here, MSY, I get to my hotel room, and after the ride, whatever, get up to New Jersey, and open up my suitcase, and the bottle of shampoo that I had in there that was also in a plastic.
Wait, did you say shampoo or champagne?
Shampoo.
Okay.
That was in a.
Just for clarification.
Yes. That was in a Ziploc bag, and it's like I immediately smelled it. It was like there was stuff everywhere, and there was a slip of like a little long slip of like card in there, and it said TSA check, and it says we have the right to open bags if we see something, and blah blah blah. So it's like, long story short, they opened my bag and had to pull out the shampoo and examine it and look at it, whatever the hell. But the best part of it is that the bottle was open. The top was popped open, a typical shampoo bottle, and it had leaked all in the bag, and it was leaking out of the Ziploc bag, and it was like on like half of my suitcase and on my clothes. And it's like, okay, I get you need to check the stuff in the bag, but close the shampoo bottle. It's like there's nothing wrong with it. Just don't like contaminate my suitcase.
It seems like common sense.
That's too much work.
And the best part is on the way back. So this is coming back from Jersey. That when I got back, I had wrapped the thing in not only a Ziploc bag, I had put it in like another garbage bag that I got from the hotel. I wanted to make sure if the same thing happened, it didn't get all in my suitcase. Get home, it's like wasn't even touched. It was in the same exact place in the suitcase. Looks like nothing was touched. And it's like, oh, y'all didn't think you needed to check to make sure I didn't have like friggin' battery acid in there or something? Like, what did y'all think it was? And then on top of that is going through, like, wearing my backpack, my work backpack that has a laptop in it, stuff like that. They don't stop me for anything going when I left on the trip. And I had let's just say I had to go put on stickers, put on labels for my job on equipment. And I had probably like 1,000 of those in my bag. They didn't stop me. Coming back, I had maybe 2 little stacks, maybe like 100 total left from the trip that were in there. They stop, put my bag goes on this different little chute to the side. And I'm like, what does this mean? And like, I got to go to some counter, and the guy has to like go through it. He's like opening every zip part of my bag, and he's pulling stuff out. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And it was the thing that flagged was these little stacks, a couple of like 3x4 stickers, labels that were, rubber band together. And he takes it and he's flipping through it like a deck of cards. And he's like, what are these? What are these? Index cards? I'm like, they're freaking adhesive labels. And he's like flipping through them, like thinking, like, what am I hiding in between them or something?
Oh, yeah.
And the dude's flipping through them, and he's like, all right, you good. And he puts them back in the bag, and he hands me, and he scoops my bag back to me with like it half, like all the zippers open, and he even pulled something out of it. I was like, I feel like I just got raped. Like, what the hell was this?
He's got his old latex semen gloves on.
At any point in your travels, did you say the word bomb, or did you have some kind of...
And I even get TSA Pre Check, which they don't make me take off my belt and shoes and hat and all that stuff when you're TSA, or even take my laptop out when you're TSA Pre Check. Yet for some reason they thought they had to like completely go through my bag and open everything and look at every little thing in it at that moment. When at a different airport they don't even touch it. It just seems so random.
We had a weird incident coming back from Milwaukee. My bag was pushed to the side, and they just kind of left it there. And they're like, hold on, you can't go yet. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I don't have anything in my bag. Well, the reason why they were taking so long to check it, they had a kid in front of me who was apparently playing in like some kind of like cornhole tournament that was in Milwaukee, and they were pulling out each and every one of his bean bags and checking them, like feeling them like like a fucking like testicular exam. They're like going through these things like crazy.
Bombs in his cornhole bean.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't they just check mine simultaneously? Well, the poor kid, I mean, this kid's like a teenager, maybe. He's probably like 17 at most. And he's like, he's explaining to me, look, I played in a cornhole tournament. It's like, I promise you, I'm not concealing anything in these bean bags. So they're checking these bean bags one by one. And I'm just sitting here anxiously waiting. Like, I know I don't have anything in my bag. Like, why is my bag pulled to the side? So finally, they let the poor kid go, and they start checking my bag. And all of a sudden, they pull out of my little side pocket. Camden had slipped his Powerade from before the flight in my side pocket of my backpack. And like, what's this? It's like, it's a Powerade that my kid was drinking. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. They just throw it in the trash and give me my bag back. It's like, did it really have to take that long though? To you dumbasses could have seen that fucking Powerade bottle sitting right there. It wasn't like it was inside my bag. It was in a little side pocket on the outside.
It's got to be a money thing because it's like once you get through TSA, they got all the restaurants, all the kiosks, all the little shops, and it's like they want you to buy stuff in there. And it's like, oh, you got to drink, you drink, or dump it out before you go through TSA. It's like, well, it's yellow Gatorade. What's it going to do?
Well, I think it's a very small price to pay for safety and security, Sean.
The voice of reason.
If a little inconvenience, was had from you because of this.
Sounds like Mike's giving a shout out to TSA here.
It's not like I said bomb on an airplane.
It's a very small price to pay in order for nefarious type actions to be done.
How nefarious has been said twice in this
podcast. But Mike, what if you were that guy who was like second in line and you had a flight to catch that was within 30 minutes?
But see, that will never happen to me because I am the most punctual person that I know.
Ooh.
And when they tell me
so if they pull your bag
to be there 2 hours before, I'm there.
Someone should have left somewhere
2.5 hours before just to make sure.
So you're saying it wouldn't bother you if they pulled your bag to the side when checking your KY jelly?
Absolutely not.
I just want to get to my hotel room and open my suitcase and not have all my clothes and shit covered in shampoo.
That is pretty shitty. Yeah. I admit that is pretty shitty. They should have.
And I've downsized. I used to bring mouthwash and other things. And it's like, oh, that's too much. So I'm like, I just want that shampoo. I need that shampoo for these lovely locks of hair.
I think the problem is there's no repercussions for them.
Absolutely.
If they do that, and if you can you can file a complaint.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, TSA opened my bag up and my shampoo spilled everything. They'll be like, okay, sorry.
It's still almost like the side of my suitcase too. Mm-hmm. It's going to smell like my shampoo now. So it's not the worst smell, but it's like I have stains on the side of the suitcase.
It's not like it's an airline that lost your luggage and like, oh, we'll give you a free flight, or we'll upgrade you to first class. Okay, what's TSA going to do for you?
It's the government.
So you get your ass back in line. We don't give a shit.
Right, so
it's our job.
About this cool show I just saw the other day, 2 days ago, matter of fact, on the same topic. It's called Airport Security Madrid, and it's on the National Geographic channel. It is about one of the busiest airports. It's like the 5th largest, busiest airport in the world, and it's all about like drug smuggling. It's very interesting. So these agents, they're like national police. They check passports. So as soon as these planes are arriving, like, all right, passport, and automatically they can tell when it's a smuggler because their passport they may only have been in a city for like 4 days, and then now they're in this country, that country. And it was kind of amazing to see. And so these people come in and they just look like normal people traveling. Not that, I mean, that's their whole point, is to blend in, right? When you're trying to smuggle. But one that stood out to me was this couple. And they're going through, they did the little x-ray of the bags, and they could see, quote unquote, organic matter. And so they said, okay, well, what do y'all like move in, bring in? What do you have packed? And they said, oh, we have foods. We have like food and stuff. So sure enough, they checked the luggage and it checked out. Yep, they had different foods and things like that. And then all of a sudden he pulls out this black plastic bag, and it had a very foul odor. It was poop. Oh. And so he says, and they're all talking Spanish, and he's telling us, he's like, caca.
This isn't about the lady that tried to smuggle the giraffe shit on the airplane to make a necklace, is it?
Oh, no. So what ended up happening, so the wife is telling him, oh, no, he poos like that all the time, and he just keeps it in a bag. He poos in a bag all the time. When he goes to his mom, he poos in a bag. When he goes to his friends, he poos in a bag. I don't know. He just, like, does it. And
this is a grown man?
This is a grown man.
Why he keeps it?
Wow.
So,
is this like Borat?
Wait.
He hangs it on the wall.
So this was her story saying, I don't know, he always poos in a bag.
Excuse me, where do I put this?
Well, what had happened was, sure enough, he was smuggling drugs. He had swallowed 36 condoms filled with cocaine, but it was like liquid.
But it was in his shit.
In the condoms. He swallowed them. He was traveling for days, couldn't hold it in anymore. So when he pooped, he had to catch it all because it was the drugs he was smuggling.
I'm not going to lie to you. this sounds like a guy I want to be friends with.
It was.
Wow.
I mean, I was like fascinated. It was fascinating to see what these people go through.
Condoms. That's just.
And then and it was full. I mean, it was like big. That's exactly what I was thinking. How do you swallow that without choking?
Could you imagine going on like America's Got Talent and they call you up and like, all right, what's your talent? Watch this. I'm gonna swallow a bunch of condoms filled with
cocaine.
Sean, maybe they profiled you and thought that you were like a drug dealer.
I thought the same thing. I think
you look like a drug dealer.
Definitely
Cuban.
A profiling case here.
He is Cuban.
I can say I feel like the thing when they stop you before going through the regular metal detector and you got to go through the thing with the hands in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's random, sir. Don't worry. It's like it's happened to me 3 out of 4 times. It's that random, huh? Like put your hand. You got to match the little silhouette and it goes around you, and you feel like, is this going to give me brain cancer? What is this?
Random question on topic. What's the worst airport you've ever flown into or out of, or just been to?
Are you talking about like as far as
general,
like looks or
in general?
security?
Just in general the airport itself?
MSY.
The old MSY.
The old MSY.
Yeah, the old MSY.
Not the new one. The new one sucks because it's so long. You gotta walk like a lot.
Yeah, it's big.
Big distance, but and they don't have like the what do they call the people movers like some of the other airports have.
The walkway.
Yeah, they don't have that, so that makes it
aggravating. The escalator walkways.
People movers.
Probably a small airport.
I mean, if we're not talking about TSA, and I would say like as far as like the blandest airport that I've been to, and I think Travis might be able to agree with me on this, is when we went to see the College World Series in Nebraska. Nebraska's airport.
Omaha?
Yeah, what did I say?
Omaha.
Yeah, Omaha's airport is just extraordinarily bland.
Well, I chose
very small,
very
airport.
bland and outdated.
I went to Lincoln. I chose to go to Lincoln instead of Omaha and drive an hour. The Lincoln airport's like it's a room.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get on down the escalator and it's like the counters to check in, to check your bags. The rental cars are always like across the room. Mm-hmm. It's like everything's all there. It's like one terminal and like 5 gates and the whole thing. It's tiny.
For me, the Kansas City airport is the worst. It's single file into one TSA line, kind of like the new MSY is. You go TSA is all in one section like that, as opposed to separate out like different like wings of the airport. The Kansas City airport is god awful.
I felt like such a dick in the Lincoln airport.
I might take my choice back. I think the El Paso, Texas airport for me was pretty dang bad. I thought we were going to exit out the plane itself, like the stairs.
I wouldn't even have thought El Paso had.
I know. That's how it was.
Everywhere has an airport.
Kind of like
it's surprising.
Yeah, kind of like what Sean said about the Lincoln. The Omaha one wasn't much bigger. It was, probably only had like two very small sides to go to.
Speaking of the TSA, I felt like such a dick because I had TSA Pre Check at this Lincoln airport. It was the line right next to the regular line. Mm-hmm. There may have been 12 people in the regular line, and I'm the only one with TSA. And they let me walk up this empty line and just cut in front of everybody. I'm like, sorry, y'all, my bad.
Don't apologize. Are you all TSA Pre-Check?
Nope. No.
So 3 of us are. 4, Jamie, TSA Pre?
I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm scared. Any airports I think is terrible.
She flew twice?
No, let me see. Well, technically, if you count there and back, I count each trip. So I flew 4 times.
What do you use to get
we went
TSA
to
Pre-Check?
Miami and Las Vegas.
What do you use to get your TSA Pre-Check?
What do you mean?
Like what credential gets it for you?
I don't know what you mean.
Like I use my Twit
TSA
card.
Pre-Check?
Oh, I just went to the check agency and just filled out the paperwork and did all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know you can do that.
I have a Twit card that I use. I type the number in and it gets me.
Oh, you're fucking fancy then.
But hey,
look, the reason I brought it up and asked is because Mike and Sean, you can speak to this. Do you feel like people who are not TSA Pre, who are waiting in the line, do you look at them like they're a peasant? Every now and then you walk up and like the line's like 40 people deep.
When I did that thing at Lincoln, I'm just like, excuse me,
yeah.
12 people in line.
I look at that when we go to Texas Roadhouse and we need to call ahead seating. And we walk in and they gotta wait.
I've only had TSA Pre-Check for probably maybe 2.5, 3 years now. I don't know why it took so long to get it.
So do you know anybody on the do not fly list?
Yes, and I can't name that person, but I
do know that.
I do know
a person.
Yeah, I do know a person who is on the no fly.
I know a person with the same name of a person that is on that list.
Oh, no.
And every time they go fly, they get scrutinized and probed and everything else. They have to provide like 10 different forms of identification.
I know my name is John Cena, but I'm not a dick.
I'm not gonna sit here and like suck the TSA dick and like how great it is and tell you if you don't have TSA Pre, you're an idiot. Like it's worth it to some people, sure.
Yeah.
I got it honestly more like just convenience. Plus it's $15 basically $15 a year. It's like $85 5 years, $15 a year, whatever the case may be. But for me it's like when you're a little too close, and like you don't understand this because you're always way early to the airport. But when you get there a little too late and you're delayed and you got to run through an airport,
so
TSA will
don't
say.
really fly much. What is TSA Pre Check? Like, what is that?
It's a different line, and you go through TSA quicker.
It's a
like how?
Fast forward.
It's a separate.
There's other services.
Security
Clear
line.
Thing, there's
So
other,
instead of doing a full anal
like a
probe,
fast
and they
pass,
do
it's
like
Disney World.
a Saints.
It's like fast pass.
Like I
Yeah.
paid to just
It's
go
like,
through
yeah,
the line
fast
quicker.
pass.
But they still like check you the same as the other ones.
Well,
Somewhat.
one of the airports gave me a blue card, and it said I didn't have to take belt shoes
Yeah.
off. I didn't have to take my laptop out of the bag. There's certain things like your TSA Pre-Check, we trust you more.
That's the biggest thing. You
don't
when
have to take
you
your
go to
shoes
security,
off. You
leave
have
your
to take
shoes
belt
on.
off.
Yeah, leave your shoes
what's
on.
the safety in that? You know.
Because they
to
pre-screened
get
you
to get
in your
the-
background.
Well, for me, the TWIC card, to get you that TWIC card, it's like every 5 years something. I have to have 2 forms of ID, one of them being like a passport, social security card. It's a background check thing. They give it's like stronger than a regular ID even. And we need that to go into plants and things like that. It's like, if an employer, a client will require a TWIC card.
Listen,
if I'm smuggling drugs, I'm going to do the TSA Pre Check.
probably not. Oh, not. You can leave your shoes
My
on.
record's clean, and I get to keep my shoes
Sure.
on.
Yeah, you can leave your shoes on. You don't have to take your laptop or your tablet or whatever, or your electronics out of your bag. You keep your belt on, some other things here and there. That's really the biggest thing. It's really just a money grab kind of thing.
Like a mugshot on this
Yeah.
thing, but
I'm about to say that looks like
But
that looks like you would be on the do not fly list.
in
That's
theory,
why they check you
it
every
should
time.
save you time going through TSA if you're pre-check because the line should be shorter because they move you through faster. But then there are some times I'll go to the airport and I'm TSA pre-check. People who are non-pre-check get done before I am. I'm sitting there like,
right.
Wait, what's this for?
I've been in the TSA Pre-Check line. It's just as long as the regular line.
And then you're
So
like, I paid $85 to skip all these people and not be a peasant. And it's like, they're ahead of me now. But yeah, I do kind of get in the airport and look around like, you're not pre-check? Yeah. To the back of the plane you go. Like that.
Hey.
We say that as a plane flies over our head right now. And that is all on mic. So we apologize, listeners. We're recording outside tonight on a early fall night.
Weather's very nice.
Yeah, very nice. We're just doing outside today, and
cool outside.
Yeah.
It's Cooper Rush time.
With the joys of being outside come the downside of barking dogs, airplanes, mosquitoes, cars driving by in the neighborhood thinking they're at like a racetrack. But we're here to give you content because we care about
And it's a beautiful night.
It's a beautiful
like
night.
the first feeling fall.
Oh shit, you're right. My bad.
It's pumpkin spice weather.
I'm surprised you're not hearing that worse than me.
Absolutely.
You spilling or knocking over your mini travel bottles of alcohol.
You mean these?
Yes, these. What are you drinking again? What do you have there? It's Bacardi.
That is the Bacardi Mango Chili.
I think we need to do another
burns the
shot.
throat.
Be good in the salsa. Oh, we're gonna do a shot to close
Speaking
us out.
of chili, another thing that can be
You have a
chips
topic?
that is not salsa.
I did already.
No.
That was
What are our other shot options? We got some Kraken. Is that gold
I like
spice?
the
The
dough
gold
ball.
spice
I'll
roll.
do another dough ball.
All right. Well, let's get a shot and let's get ready to close out this episode.
Do we want to do a top 5 while we're pouring the shots?
Yeah, we'll get to a top 5. Do we want to toast or do a tribute shot for anyone? Has anyone passed recently that we need to do a salute to, or maybe Todd's Orioles?
Oh, man, you had to go there.
Sorry, I want your tears, Todd.
I
I
mean, there wasn't Orioles.
Well, my wife's grandmother passed away. I'll say that. and her funeral is on Thursday. She was actually probably one of my favorite people in my wife's family, so I'll definitely toast to her.
What's her name?
Her name is Millie Bradley. She was, like I said, she treated me almost like one of her own grandchildren, even though, I was an in-law. But she was very much one of my favorite people in the family, and she went to Disney World with us one year, and I thought it was a really fun experience bringing her along. So I'll definitely toast to her. There is since Patrick had to bring up the Orioles, and it's depressing that they are 0-2 right now in the playoffs. They actually did lose a pitcher in their organ. Well, he was obviously. Me.
I know. We lost an NFL great last week in Dick Buckus. And I truly think that the Bears played the best game of their season.
That wasn't mine.
In honor of Dick Buckus for
I had one like that.
That was probably Thursday night. Yeah,
they broke their 14-game losing streak.
Shout out to them for getting off the schneid in honor of Dick Buckus. Oh, by the way,
there was an Orioles legend named Jim Poole who had just passed away. As I was saying,
he also played for the Indians.
Yeah, he passed away from ALS, so he died this week. So we'll toast him too.
All right, glasses up. Cheers to another. Thank you, Jamie, again for joining us on the podcast. That was way too loud to the mic.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel
This
honored.
is the shot we're taking is Kraken Gold Spiced Rum.
Not pumpkin spiced.
Yeah.
Gold
spiced.
It's still spiced.
Kraken has put out the dark spiced and their coffee rum, which is both awesome, by the way. This is the gold spice rum. I've had it already. It's pretty awesome as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Cheers.
Billy Bradley.
Billy Bradley.
Dick Buckus. Wagons out.